Hi there, my name is Jiffer Harriman. I'm going to talk today about an instrument called the Quadrofeelia that I made. It's an electronic instrument. Got some sensors mounted on this wood. Got it powered up, got it plugged into a guitar amp. And let's talk about how to play it. Alright, so I'm going to talk about the layout and how to play the Quadrofeelia. The left hand is laid out like a fretboard. This is a membrane sensor, or called a ribbon controller a lot of times. And a lot of people have made instruments with this kind of thing. This is a soft pot, is the actual name of this sensor. And it's just a continuous sensor that can detect position. As I move my hand up and down, you know, it's a fretboard, so to say. So move things around. Now that's nothing new in terms of electronic instruments, but what's unique about I think this instrument is the right hand. And so the right hand is laid out in this grid, and the idea is that each of these represents a different string on the instrument. And if you play straight across, you get this minor chord. That's an A minor 7 chord. But as you can see, there's these other regions, and so this is a 1, 3, 5, 7. If we move our finger up here, get a major dominant 7 chord. And so because of these different regions, you have the ability to play different chord shapes than just the original kind of tuning. And this is something that is not available on a lap steel guitar, because it's played with a bar that just goes across all the strings. So now when you combine the right and the left hand, you can do chord changes, and you can do a lot of different things. The other thing that's nice about this instrument is you can change notes continuously. And so not only with the left hand, you know, you can slide up and down and get a continuous change, but then there's these zones on the right hand that give you a continuous kind of bend from one note to the next, and that's what really I think makes this a unique thing, is that you can play a chord and then you can change it continuously. You don't have to take your fingers off like you do with a keyboard or with a fretted instrument. You can play different inversions by just moving your fingers around a little bit. And I think that's what I really like about it. And it kind of turns it into more like a pedal steel guitar, which has the ability to bend strings up and down by pulling on them or loosening them with pedals and knee levers and things like that. Okay, a couple last things to just point out about the instrument. You might have noticed the left hand, in addition to playing sort of the fret, there's some pressure sensitivity here. So depending on how hard it's pressed down, you get a brightness. And there's just a filter sweep going on in there, and there's some FM synthesis being added in. So that gives you another mode of control. The other thing is this wooden panel here, which isn't just for looks. Underneath it there's some additional sensors, and so that's kind of, when you play guitar, you can stick your hands on the strings and mute it. So you can do that here too. So you don't want to have a sustain chord, just put your palm down and stop it. And then the last thing to point out is these buttons. And what we get here is basically a quick way to sort of retune the instrument, the strings. So this is the default. You go here, we get fourths, which guitarists will like because it's kind of all of a sudden looks like those chord symbols. The next one is fifths. Violin, cello, viola, these instruments are tuned to fifths, so someone who's familiar with that tuning might be able to improvise with something like that. And then lastly you get seconds, which just gives access to kind of more dense chords and things like that. Okay, last but not least, for the tech heads out there, take a look under the hood. So inside, the back side of the instrument is where all the guts are, and so you can see the mess of wires, and there's a breadboard, and then on top is an Arduino sensor. And then below the perf board is a board called the Beagle board. It's a TI board, and it's basically a little ARM microprocessor. And so that's what's running all the sound synthesis and taking in the sensors and turning them into musical notes. And on the Beagle board, it's running a version of Linux and running a program called Pure Data, and then the patch that you hear is coming from that. So anyway, thanks for listening.